Hello, everybody. This is Otis,
And I'm Jerry.
and this is Two Guys Catching Up on Football. Our, I guess, weekly roundup where we just talk about things, all things considered in football, college and the pros. Now, understand we're not professional analysts. We are not
No,
professional journalists, although I guess Jerry is a professional journalist.
I don't know if I'd go that far,
Yeah,
but
so, but all we do is just kind of say what we think, say what we feel. You may agree with it, you may not. Either way is what
yeah,
we think and feel, so it really doesn't matter whether you agree with it or not.
yeah.
It's
We
just the way
when
it is.
Otis and I worked together, we'd be doing this Monday morning anyways at work.
Yeah,
So
that's right. And having the
and getting
job pay
paid
us
for it.
for talking football for 3 hours on a
Yeah.
Monday morning. That's probably why I'm not there anymore. Yeah, so let's get started with some college football. Um, Oregon's at the top of the rankings again, and they should be. Um,
Yeah.
uh, they uh, they usually find this time of the year to do something and lose a game that they have no business losing,
Well,
especially once they get to the top of the polls. But maybe they're more relaxed because there's 12 spots open and not four. And,
possibly.
and maybe they don't feel quite the pressure
That- I,
to perform.
I did see next week they're in the big house.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so which is to me pretty. So maybe that's their game that they're ready to lose.
Maybe
And then
because
on the other side,
they
if
should not
Michigan
lose. They
loses,
should not lose to Michigan. No,
no, they shouldn't.
no,
And I do think if Michigan loses that one, they cannot be in the playoffs then.
no. I'm pretty sure. I really think that unless Michigan manages to win the Big Ten, that
Well,
they won't make it.
yeah, nah, yeah,
And
I
if
don't
they
think so.
lose, I don't think they'll be able to be in the championship game. So
Right.
yeah, so um,
Yeah, right now you're going to have to get past Indiana, I think, right? Yes.
well, Indiana. This is sad. Indiana's 13th. I mean, this is really sad. They're
And what's
13th, and good chance, good possibility that the only way they'll make the playoff is if they win the Big Ten. Um,
yeah, probably.
Because I think
Yeah.
Even if Oregon doesn't win, they'll get in the playoffs.
Oh, sure.
Even if Penn State doesn't win, they'll get in the playoffs.
Ohio State.
Ohio
Yeah.
State, and I think those three will
And,
get in. One of them will get in as the Big Ten champ, and the other two will get in as
and
at
now who
large.
did a week ago? Nebraska got just destroyed by who?
I don't recall.
But Nebraska barely. Ohio State barely beat Nebraska
Yeah,
a week later. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't remember who Nebraska lost to so badly. Um, of the 12 teams, probably 8 or 9 are going to be from either the Big Ten or the SEC. So
Oh yeah, I
four
agree.
teams, 4 or 5 teams from each one of those. Um, it's kind of funny. I heard on the radio the other day there was a prop bet. You could get the Big Ten champion. You could take the SEC champion or the
Uh,
field, meaning the rest of the college football. But if the SEC is going to have 7 teams out of 12, I there's not much of a chance for any other team to be
you're
there.
right.
And now with Navy having lost
Oof. Notre Dame, that
to
was
Notre
bad.
Dame, where did they might have taken them out of the top 25? Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
they're probably out.
They're out of the
Army's still at 21, but I think Army was off.
Yeah, Army was off. So you're gonna have Army and Navy play probably for I think it's the American Athletic Conference. You're gonna
Yeah.
have them play for the championship, and then a couple of days later, they have the selection for who's in the playoff and who's not.
Yeah,
And
they
that's
will.
going to come up before Thanksgiving. And then the day after Thanksgiving is the annual Army Navy game.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, well,
Army
hey,
Army
it,
needs
it,
to Army needs to do their job and just get through everybody.
Army's got a big game next weekend. I can't think of who it was. I did see when I saw it on the schedule. It was,
Yeah, so
yeah.
there's a chance Army gets in,
And,
but
and sadly, I would almost want to see. Why don't they just put Vanderbilt at number 12? Let them get in, and let them do their thing. Because when they play top-ranked teams, they sure push. They push.
they seem to do pretty good. Yeah, yeah, they seem to do pretty good. So, um, but they're too far down in the
Yeah, they're
standings
not.
of the
Yeah,
SEC
not gonna make it. Yeah.
to justify that. And so it's kind of you got Oregon's in the Big Ten, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you got Georgia, Tex, Texas, Tennessee,
Yeah, and Penn
Texas
State.
A&M, and those are all in the top 12.
Yeah.
And I see what they did. There's a tie for 11th between Clemson and Iowa State.
Oh.
So yeah.
Eh,
So but what was that? Four teams: Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, and Texas A&M. So that's four teams from there that if they stay where they are, they're going to be in the playoff. And then you got Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, and BYU's in the Big 12. So you
yeah.
got
Say,
Oregon, Penn State, and Ohio State, which if they stay where they are, they'll be in the playoffs. So that's seven of the 12 teams. And then you got
what about who? What division? You got Utah and Boise State are in
Utah and Boise State,
Mountain West.
something like,
No.
yeah, I think it's Mountain
Yeah.
West. But
Yeah.
Miami um, is
Well, true.
Miami and Clemson. Those two are in the ACC, and probably both of
Yeah.
those will get in. So that's
I
nine.
think so.
And then Boise State is higher ranked. I don't think Utah's in the ranking. No.
No, I think they dropped off.
Yeah. So you got Boise State. If they go ahead and win the Mountain West, they'll get in, but they'll
Yeah.
get in as an at large. And then you've got BYU is in the Big 12.
Right.
So they'll probably be the champs of the Big 12. So it's either going to be, I mean, it's mostly SEC and Big Ten. So
Oh, sure. And
the
that's how they
chance,
want it.
yeah, the chances of the national champion being in one of those two is definitely is definitely right up there. So, but we'll see how it all how it all it'll be. When is it's next Monday or next Tuesday the first playoff rankings.
Uh,
I think it's
Next
the
Tuesday
fifth.
is the first ranking
Yeah, I think it's the fifth.
on election day of all
Yeah,
days. Yeah.
yeah. So that's great. All right, so let's. There weren't a whole lot of games that I really liked today in the NFL, but there were a few good games.
Well, there were some crazy
The,
finishes.
the
Yeah.
Rams and the Vikings. That is just.
Right, well,
But Stafford had both his number one targets,
yeah.
and he's a different quarterback when he has guys he can trust to throw to.
And I gotta, I don't know if you saw the clip or the ending of that game because that was one of the worst missed calls I've ever seen.
Oh yeah,
On
yeah,
the face mask on Darnold. The guy about decapitated Darnold, and the
yeah,
ref just stood there. So
yeah.
who
That
knows
was
what that's all
that
about?
was bad.
Yeah, that
Those
was a bad one.
guys should definitely not get a playoff game. They definitely
No,
should not.
yeah, that ref. No, yeah,
Yeah, They should not get a playoff game. I was kind of glancing up. Kansas City and Las Vegas are still on. Las
Now, I
Vegas,
don't.
Las
Now, can the
Vegas,
Rams
huh?
make a run a little bit? Do you think they did last year?
Well,
Towards the end?
they're only well they're tied.
With Seattle got beat, so
Yeah,
yeah.
Seattle got beat, so the Rams were only one game behind. So
Right.
I think they're a half game behind.
Yeah.
And so
I still think Niners will wake up at some point
I don't
and
think so. I disagree.
really.
But yeah,
Well, of course you're gonna. It's Shanahan. Is who you're gonna
well,
say.
not just that. They had 4 straight years that they were on top of the NFC, and it
Yeah.
just doesn't happen forever. I mean, it just doesn't.
No, it's true.
The law of averages comes back, and it's
Yeah.
through nobody's fault. It just that's
Right.
just the way it is. So
It's true. You
yeah,
can't. You don't stay on top forever.
no.
Yeah.
And then we had
Unless you got Patrick Mahomes, maybe.
unless
Yeah.
you got Mahomes, but even they
Yeah. Maybe.
will have. I mean,
Yeah.
as
Oh,
great
even Brady. Yeah.
as Tom Brady was, they didn't go to the Super Bowl every single year that he was there.
Yeah. You can't.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
then
You
the
can't.
Packers Jaguars was a good game today, but the Packers came through. Malik Willis played well when he came in
Oh, what
for.
happened to Love? I didn't even. Love is not in
It
it.
was a guy hit him from behind. He never saw the guy. A guy hit him from behind, just kind of sort of tapped him, but he wasn't expecting it. He tried to. He moved his legs in such a way that he tried to catch himself and strained his groin. Pulled the groin muscle. So
He'll be back in a few weeks.
yeah,
Probably.
and then Smurf came through.
Yeah. No.
He came through. He just does. I don't
No,
know why.
he does his shuffle, and you can't stop the shuffle when he gets
No,
going. Yeah.
and I don't know why defensive coordinators don't do this, but don't try to sack him. Just keep him in the pocket,
Yeah. Contain him.
and
Yeah.
he gets impatient. And he can't see over the defensive line
No.
anyway. So I mean, don't try to sack him. Just contain him. Make sure he doesn't
Yeah.
break containment, and keep a spy on him. And then,
Yeah.
like I said, he's too short to see over the. He can't
Yeah,
see over his own linemen. His own linemen are over 6 feet tall. So,
If he just gets a little bit of some space, he's going to scooter down the field like he does,
oh yeah,
and
with those short
he
little
got
baby,
problems.
with those short little baby steps.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
did. Yep.
And then we had the Patriots beat the Jets yet again.
Oh my gosh.
Now I don't
That's
know.
got to be the most surprising score of the day to me.
No, it
Uh,
wasn't. It wasn't to me. Aaron Rodgers
Well, but-
is just not any good anymore. He just
No, and
isn't.
you know what is this has now, I think the last few weeks have proven that is not the fault of Robert Saleh.
Oh yeah.
They why they're probably even worse without Saleh.
Well, they are
There.
because the defense is not as good.
Yeah, and Rodgers is old, and yeah, I don't who knows what he was doing. So
Yeah, so that came through, and then your boys beat the Ravens. But over the last couple of years, they've had the Ravens number.
they do sort of. They have a good plan for. They usually keep. What's the linebacker? He got hurt today. JOK. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. Jeremiah Okusa.
Oh.
Mora. Derrick Henry knocked him out of the game with a huge shoulder.
Yeah.
But they usually have him spying on Lamar, which helps. And I'm going to give a lot of credit to Winston. I am not a believer in Winston. He played great. He played fine. He did get a lucky at the end of that game. I don't know if you saw, but man, he threw a pass that should have been intercepted.
Yeah.
I think you and I would have caught that pass. They said
Oh
it was
yeah.
so easy.
Yeah, it was an easy one, and right after, a couple of plays later, they scored the touchdown. That's the way it
Yeah.
always is. The quarterback
Yeah.
gives up an easy interception. The defensive back doesn't catch it. Next thing you know, the team's in for a touchdown and you lost. So it's just kind of one of those things.
And I don't know. I'm not gonna go into your conspiracy of Dorsey and Stefanski's play calling. I just know that it sounds mean, but I don't. If Deshaun Watson never takes another snap for the Browns, I'll be perfectly fine. I think you would say the same if Jimmy G was still on the Niners. You're not
Well,
gonna miss him.
it's
So,
it's not a conspiracy thing. It's just the way it happened. I mean,
well, true.
Stefanski was calling the plays. The plays were horrible. Now, whether it was the play calling or Watson didn't really matter.
Probably both.
It was just
Probably
I
both.
think
Yeah.
it was half and half.
Yeah.
But today Dorsey called a pretty good game, and Winston
He had a couple of bad ones, but
executed it. So they
yeah.
came out with the win. All right, we're
Yeah.
off the Browns.
Okay.
So
All right.
Eagles really beat up on the Bengals. The Eagles looked like they looked at the beginning of last year before they lost those 6 out of 7
I
games.
think my thing with the Eagles, I might have said it last week. The more you get it towards winter, the more I'm just giving the ball to Barkley. Let Barkley do his
That's what you
thing.
should do, but they're not going to do that
Yeah.
because
You don't
they
know. We don't know what Sirianni's might do. I don't know what he's going to do.
they
But
paid
as far as
AJ Brown entirely too much money to just run up and down the field. So
well,
and Devontae
that's
Smith also, and they paid too much
yeah.
to Hurts. They're gonna try to keep a balance. They're gonna make
Well,
more of a mistake with passing than they will with letting Barkley.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know what the if the Commanders are winning, but if the Commanders keep winning, I'd take the Commanders to win that division.
Yeah. Well, the Bears are moving the ball right now. So
But so what's the
let's
score?
see. Let's see how much time is left. Um,
It's got to be getting.
um, I think Red Zone is about to go off the air. The Bears are moving the ball, and it's 12-7, Washington. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. So then we had the Texans and Colts. That was a pretty decent game. The
I didn't watch any. I did hear somebody say, question why they're playing Richardson at quarterback. I guess he didn't look very good.
No, not particularly. And it kind of goes back to what you and I have both said in the past. Stop drafting these quarterbacks that have only played 8 or 12 games.
Yeah, true.
I mean they look like a nice shiny new car, but they just haven't played enough
Yeah.
that it will translate over. You keep
I,
trying
so,
to.
and I would, right, we would both agree the Colts are not at the level of the Texans. I
No,
don't think so.
but I think if Richardson had played more football than what he did, and he was always hurt at Florida too. So
Right.
I mean, he was there for 3 years, but in those 3 years, he probably I think he only played like 12 games in three
Right,
years.
I was
So
going to
yeah,
say it's about a
but
dozen.
they were enamored with the fact that he could throw the ball 70 yards in the air,
Yeah,
from
people, I
standing
guess.
flat-footed,
Well,
and
people weren't. Al Davis was enamored with Jamarcus Russell because he
yeah,
had a big arm.
yeah.
So
So
we've
and
seen
then
that one before.
and then we had this one game we don't even really need to talk about it. The Lions put up 50 something on the Titans.
Well,
It,
Michael will be thrilled. I do like. I think I texted you. I like Jameer Gibbs. I even looked it up because I was like, "How old is this guy?" He's 22. So
yeah, yeah.
he's going to be around if he, no
Yeah,
injuries.
he's a pretty good running back. And
Mhm.
then the Falcons, Kirk Cousins came through,
Yeah,
and so
he earned his check today. Yeah.
yeah. But you and I have said this also. He is who he is, and his
Yeah,
career
probably.
record is pretty close to 500. So
Yeah.
that's who he is.
That's another. I don't. Well, it's either going to be Tampa or them. It's not going to be the Saints or Panthers. We
No,
know that.
no, no. It won't be either one of those teams. And
Yeah.
speaking of the Saints, we're on Dennis Allen watch. Um,
Oh,
today, my Chargers beat them 26-8. Today might have been his last game as the Saints head
probably
coach.
getting pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then the Bills beat the Seahawks. So the Seahawks, I still say, will win the
Yeah.
division because they will beat the
No.
other. They will beat the other teams in the division. That's all they have to beat.
Really?
They don't have to worry about beating anybody else. So
Well,
all they got to do, they got six
still don't.
games.
Yeah.
They got
I,
6 games
I
within the
still don't think
division.
you're always worried about the Seahawks. I think you still think that Sherman's there
Well, no,
and
that's not
beast mode.
it. That's not
Oh.
it. They just know how to play within the division. That's all I'm looking at. And now
Yeah,
even if they,
I still don't see it. Yeah.
well, I know, but you never do. I mean,
That's,
you never see it. You know
yeah,
that's what you never see it. So it's okay that you can't see it. I know that. So anyway, um, we'll see who they have out of division still on the schedule. But I mean, the Bills are a much better team than they are, so they should have
oh
lost.
yeah, no question.
Yeah, they should have lost. And then the only game that's well, the only game that's left is the Bears Commanders, and they're down to 2 minutes, I think. And the Bears have the football. They're down by 5, so they got to score a touchdown.
Oh,
Caleb Williams just had a nice run. Um, and then the other one that's still playing is the Panthers and Broncos, but there's 18
yeah.
seconds left, and
Well, I
the
did see
Broncos
that.
are.
Yeah.
Grandpa Bo is playing well.
No, he's been playing okay.
Yeah,
Grandpa is doing all right. Yeah.
yeah, he's doing good. And then the Chiefs beat the Raiders by 7.
Of course. Yeah,
Hey,
not
no big
surprised.
deal. Uh,
Yeah.
the thing with the new kickoff rules, where if you're going to do an onside kick, you have to tell the other team. I think is funny.
Yeah.
I think it's really really funny that you got to tell them.
I
Um,
don't.
and
I
so
don't like any of that stuff. Yeah.
I don't mind it. I don't care. I mean, even without telling them, very few teams got recovered an onside kick. Very few, and the
Right.
ones that did it was only because the other team made a mistake. So they gotta try. They gotta try something. I'm actually okay with they call it the dynamic kickoff. I'm actually okay with that. There's been a
Okay.
couple. I think there's been 2 or 3
Bengals
punt
did it last
returns.
week.
Punt.
Remember?
I
Yeah.
mean, 2 or 3 kickoff returns for a touchdown.
Yeah, last week Bengals. Yeah,
There
whichever
was
it
one. Yeah, there was one today also.
Oh,
So, but there's been a few in the early part of the season,
and
and so
who is playing tomorrow night?
tomorrow night are the Giants and Steelers. The Steelers should win that game,
Yeah, I agree.
and it all depends on whether Russell Wilson gives the ball to the Giants a lot.
Well, probably not. I don't think so. I
Well,
think Steelers should win that.
he is who he is. So,
Well, at some point he's going to do that.
oh
But
yeah, at some point he's gonna start throwing
yeah,
to the other team. The
yeah, exactly.
same thing with Jameis Winston. At some point
Oh,
he's
no,
gonna
I
start.
agree. Yeah,
Yeah, he'll
at some
start
point
throwing.
he's going to do his thing.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
could have had 3 picks today, but on the flip, Lamar could have been picked 3 times too
yeah,
today.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Cowboys and Niners tonight. So we'll see what kind of game that's gonna be. I heard this guy on the radio.
I gotta think Niners are gonna win that easily. I
Well,
did see
okay,
Bears scored.
okay. I don't think it'll be easily. They might win it, but it ain't.
Uh,
But it ain't gonna be easily. No, because they still have Kyle Shanahan as their head coach. So
well,
so it ain't gonna be easily. Yeah, they might win it, but yeah, it's not gonna be like
all right, it'll be a tight game.
they're not gonna score 52
They
on.
don't have Micah Parsons. They got to be able
It
to
doesn't
score.
matter. It doesn't. The 49er defense will make Dak Prescott look like he should have been paid $60 million a year, because that's what they do. That's what they do this year. They're not good. They're not very
Oh,
good.
no.
So, yeah, I they might win it. I hope they do, but I wouldn't count on it.
I think they're fine.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's it for us this week. So next week, um, Jerry is going to see his beloved Cleveland Browns play live.
Yep.
So I will be calling him
Yeah.
constantly as a wellness check
Well, but maybe.
to make
Yeah,
sure.
the only thing is, again, a very typical. I already looked at the weather, and there's off and on rain, so I thought,
Oh,
perfect. Yeah.
who are they playing?
So I got ponchos ready to go. Yeah.
Who are they playing?
The Chargers.
Oh, okay. You know what?
Yeah.
It'll be a close game. The Chargers are not great. They're
It should
good,
be
but they're not great.
should be a close game. The last few years, the Chargers and Browns have had some really wild games that have come down to the end. So
Yeah. So I think
probably
it'll
be
be
like
good.
that again. Yeah.
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 But Jameis will do something that'll make your blood pressure rise.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for tuning in for another week. I'm Otis,
And I'm Jerry.
and hold on a second. Let me put it on a little traveling music.
Put it on
There
the
it
tube.
is. I love this song. I don't know what it
We don't
is.
even know what it is, but we
Yeah,
love it.
but we love it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming in for another week to listen to us yammer. I'm Otis,
And I'm Jerry.
and we're two guys catching up on football. Ciao.